my name's Alex Mueller. I work with the undergraduate business programs office here on campus at Santa Clara. If you want any help with like answering questions on academics or extracurriculars, you can go to Lucas 115 or just email the undergraduate business programs office email, and we'll be happy to help you out. We were also responsible for supporting all the majors and departments in the business school, and we also help coordinate and run programs such as the peer advisor program and the community fellows program. So we organized this pop-in event or this series to give freshmen and sophomores mainly another chance to hear from clubs or associations that they are interested in. And so today we have the Real Estate Association, DSP, and the Investment Banking Club. So if you guys are like the heads of those clubs or the presenters, if you guys just want to give a brief intro, like say your name, what organization you're representing, and maybe like a one sentence about your club before we get started.
Sure, I can go first. My name's Connor, and I'm a senior finance major, and I'm studying real estate. And I'm the president this year of the Real Estate Association, and I have like a little thing to share on my screen in a couple minutes, which will do a better job explaining it. But I'm glad you guys are here, and I definitely recommend making the most of these different clubs and whatnot while you're on campus, because it's a super cool way to meet other students, but also make some like career informing decisions, if this is like something you want to pursue or not.
Awesome. And so my name is Calvin Park, and I'm a junior finance major, and I am a vice president of the Santa Clara Investment Banking Club. And at the Santa Clara Investment Banking Club, we try to teach kids about investment banking and try to help them in their career path, like towards a career in banking.
Awesome. And my name is Ashley. I'm a senior marketing major, and I am here with Delta Sigma Pi, which is one of the professional business fraternities on campus. We are a co-ed professional business fraternity focused on professionalism, service, and brotherhood, and I'll go a little bit more into what that means in a little bit.
All right, great. Thanks for sharing, guys. So to kick us off, we have Connor with the Real Estate Association presenting first. So you can go ahead and get started with that.
Sounds good. Can you guys see this? All right, so essentially the Real Estate Association is like almost entirely student run, and its main goal is to provide networking opportunities for both your peers and with like industry connections. And so a typical year with the Real Estate Association will have different events, like speaker panels with SCU alumni and what we call like our advisory board, which are, industry professionals who want to give back and help students. And so they'll participate in different speaker panels. We'll have different resume workshops, a real estate specific career fair, some interview prep, some property tours in a pre-corona like setting. Might have like a virtual one or something this year. And we have a mentorship program, which is definitely the most popular thing, where you get paired up with an industry professional that we pair you up with based on specific like industry or location preferences. And so pre-corona we would have 2 or 3 events per quarter, and with corona on Zoom we're able to do a couple more, so maybe every other week or every other 3 weeks. But I would classify this as one of the more low commitment clubs. I mean, you just simply have to join our newsletter by either following the link on our Instagram or our LinkedIn. And once you type in your email, you'll get all the emails and updates from us. There's no like formal application process or anything like that. And we don't take attendance at events, but it's all entirely optional and just there for you to attend the events that seem appealing to you, to learn more, to meet other students, and things of that nature. And so if you do find yourself interested, I do recommend following our LinkedIn. And the LinkedIn has a different posting schedule that helps students become more familiar with like Silicon Valley real estate. So for example, on Mondays, they'll post like an educational article. Someone will find something in the news specific to Silicon Valley real estate. And, it's a quick 2 or 3 minute article that will kind of like get you refreshed on something that's happening. On Fridays, we post like a building highlight which is essentially like a couple slide presentation on some of the most like famous or prolific office buildings or apartment buildings or data centers, something of that nature. So if you were to one day have an interview, it's like one thing that you can reference, so things of that nature. And so I'm happy to help you sign up for the newsletter if you'd like. You can just like send me a private chat or whatnot, and I'll write down your name. But we have honestly people from all majors. I'm personally a finance major, but we have tons of people in marketing, tons of people in economics, even people outside of the business school. Just because it's like an informal way to learn about real estate, and most of our events are like an hour or less. So it's good, like educational program, and hope to see one or two or three of you guys there.
All right. So yeah, I think that covers it for the Real Estate Association. Thanks for sharing, Connor. Now next, or first, does anyone have any questions for Connor? All right. Well, so if there's no questions, then I will move on to Ashley with Delta Sigma Pi.
Awesome. Thank you. And I'm going to share my screen really quick. Can you see that? Let me go ahead and present. Does that look good?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us. Really quick, just a little bit about Delta Sigma Pi. So we are, like I said, a professional business fraternity on campus for one of the two. This was our messaging from our fall recruitment. We did our first ever virtual fall recruitment a few weeks ago, and it was super successful. And I think the flyer is super cute, so that's why it's up. But yeah, going a little bit more into what DSP actually is. So we are one of the largest co-ed professional business fraternities in the nation. Our chapter at Santa Clara University is called the Gamma Xi chapter. Delta Sigma Pi as a whole was actually founded in 1907. It's a really big organization that has chapters at a ton of different universities around the country, and thousands of members. So it's definitely bigger than just our chapter on Santa Clara's campus. There's a much wider network. Our core values are professionalism, service, and brotherhood, which I'll go into a little bit more in a second. And our chapter specifically at Santa Clara University has 64 active brothers currently, and we have over 900 alumni. We were founded over a decade ago, so we were founded a long time ago, so we have lots of brothers who have already graduated and are now working in really cool full-time jobs, so lots of alumni as well. Awesome. And then, so for our first pillar, obviously we are a business fraternity. So our first pillar is professionalism. We are very focused on professional development. We hold a ton of really cool events, both internal and external. So we do hold events that are open to the entire school throughout the year as well. Some of the events we've held, we do LinkedIn workshops, resume workshops, interview prep workshops, things like that. We've had some really cool guest speakers. Like I said, we have some really cool alumni from our chapter who always are happy to come back and tell us about their experiences. We also have done some really cool corporate tours. Last year we went to Tesla and Salesforce. We were supposed to go to Google as well, but that got postponed due to COVID. But yeah, just in general, really focused on kind of professional development in the business world. And then our next pillar is service. We're very focused on giving back to our community. These are just some of the cool events that we've held in the past. Both on campus and off campus. We did a Pi Brother event, which raised money for a local organization. We did card making for Valentine's Day that we sent. And we also have done some really cool events off campus. The one in the corner there, we actually volunteered at Making Strides for Breast Cancer in downtown San Jose last October, which was super cool. And DSP as a national fraternity is actually partnered with the Ronald McDonald House. So we also do tons of events with that organization as well. And then finally, brotherhood. I know it's kind of weird to call it brotherhood when it's co-ed, but basically just what it comes down to is friendships. What's really cool about being in kind of a fraternity or Greek organization is the bigs and littles. It's definitely a really fun kind of family relationship there. But also these relationships really do last long after you graduate. Our brothers have studied abroad together. They work together now. They live together, and those relationships have really held strong. So that's another huge pillar for us. And then, like I said, we have a ton of alumni that work at some really cool companies. So it's definitely awesome to have all of those connections. Really quickly, just what does kind of being a brother mean? In terms of just the requirements, we are kind of only comprised of business students. So that's business students enrolled in the Leavey School of Business or economics majors in the College of Arts and Sciences. We're open to all grade levels. So first year, second year, third year, fourth year. I myself was a transfer, so you definitely don't need to be a first year to come out for recruitment. You just have to have at least 2 quarters left before graduation. There are some commitments that I can answer more questions on. We have weekly meetings. We also do, as a Greek organization, have dues that contribute to our national fraternity. But in general, not too insane of a time commitment. And I think some of the benefits are access to our LinkedIn alumni group, which is awesome, and just an international network of DSP brothers, which is awesome. So a little bit on how you can get to know us. So we are planning to recruit again this year. We will probably be recruiting again in winter of 2021. So keep an eye out for any info about recruitment starting in January. We also hold external events throughout the year that are open to all students. So keep an eye out for that. The best way to kind of keep up with us and see updates is follow our social media accounts, which I've put up there. We also have a website and we have an email that we check super regularly. So if you have any questions about recruitment or anything like that, you're always welcome to reach out. But yeah, that's all I have for DSP.
All right, thank you, Ashley. Yeah, so let's just check in real quick. Does anyone have any questions or comments on Ashley's presentation on DSP?
Yeah, I just have a quick question. You said there was only like 64 people in DSP. Is it competitive to get into? And if we don't get in the first time, are we allowed to come like reapply?
Yeah, so DSP is a little bit different from other organizations because we do hold recruitment. So that does mean there is a week long of recruitment events. And then if you are selected, you'll be extended a bid. And then you go through a pledge process and then cross to an official brother. So it's a little bit of a interesting process that I previously didn't know much about before coming into DSP. But yeah, it is a bit of a competitive process. It also just kind of depends on the year. We do recruitment twice a year, so there tends to be kind of a smaller group coming out in the winter, but it really just depends. And you can come out for recruitment as many times as you'd like. So there's definitely no cap on how many times you can come out and try for DSP. But yeah, that's a little bit about what recruitment's like.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question.
All right. Are there any other questions? I'll ask a question if you don't mind. What would you say your favorite part of being involved in DSP is?
That's a great question. I think for me, I can definitely relate to how a lot of you are probably feeling with not really knowing anyone yet or struggling to kind of get started at Santa Clara. I was a transfer student and I came in the winter quarter, so I didn't know anybody coming in the middle of the year. I also was a commuter, so I wasn't living in the dorms. So I definitely was really struggling with finding friends. And I think my favorite part about DSP was it's just kind of like this automatic group of people that are super, super supportive. Calvin is actually also in DSP, so give a little shout out there. But it's just a super supportive group of individuals who will support you academically, but also will support you, personally, and just some of my best friends that I've met through there. So yeah, it's definitely a really supportive group that I was able to find when I was struggling to find my community on campus. So yeah, feel free to keep in touch if you have any questions about recruitment or anything, but yeah.
Wait, one last quick question. Do you guys know Leo then?
Yes, of course we know Leo.
I'm his brother.
I figured, yeah, Leo.
I'll turn on my camera.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was wondering with your last name. I was like, I wonder if that's Leo's brother. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I missed fall recruitment. I'm kind of bummed, but
No
I'm gonna
worries
try
at
for
all.
winter.
Yeah, definitely come out in the winter. Awesome.
All right. Yeah, looks like that's thank you for answering that question. We'll move on now to Calvin with the Investment Banking Club.
Okay, sorry. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, we only have like one slide to kind of show for the Investment Banking Club, just as a flyer for the club. This was made pretty early on, so the information at the top right, which dictates our first meeting, isn't as relevant anymore. But if anybody is interested, you can just drop your email in the chat box and we will add you to the emailing list, and you'll get more information every week on our weekly meetings. But basically, the investment banking club targets a specific and niche career field called investment banking and aids students who are interested in it to get in there, basically. So a little bit about investment banking is that it's a notoriously difficult field to get into. It pays very well. It's very stressful. It's very like intellectually stimulating, and it's actually pretty like uncommon amongst like Santa Clara students. And as a result of that, some students a little while ago decided that they would create a club to try to help like make this kind of field more popular for Santa Clara, to try to create a larger alumni network, to try to like help other students who are interested get in there. And so what investment banking is, it's basically being like a financial advisor to different kinds of companies. For example, if a company like Google wants to buy another smaller company, maybe like Fitbit, which they bought last year, both Fitbit and Google will hire investment banks to help them with the transaction, to basically do the acquisition for them. And so that's what investment banks do. So I'm here representing the investment banking club as a vice president. We have Quinn Carr, who is our current president. He's a senior finance major. Luke is a vice president as well, and along with Matthew Hesse, and me, Luke, and Matt are all junior finance majors, while Quinn's the only senior. But basically, we're trying to convince students that investment banking is a great career to go for. And if the student so decides that they want to pursue this path, then we'll give them all the necessary aid and the necessary like mentoring needed to basically achieve a career in this career field. And so we go over in more detail our meetings. We basically teach students how to network, how to interview, how to like create a good resume and cover letter for these investment banks, and everything tailored to specifically investment banking. So it is a pretty niche club. And as a result of that, we do have a lot less members than like an organization like Delta Sigma Pi. But I think that if this is a career field that you want to go into, if finance is something that you are interested in, then it would be worth coming out and like taking a look. But other than that, I think that that's all we have to say. But if you are interested, you can feel free to like drop your email in the chat box, and we can add you to our mailing list for more information on meetings.
All right, thanks, Calvin. Yeah, sounds like a great club, especially if you're interested in investments. So does anyone have any questions for Calvin that they want to ask?
I have a comment.
All right,
I would
let's hear it.
say you guys are like the perfect age to pursue like any of these clubs, in the sense that you have like so much time to like really take advantage of the older kids and, you know, like ask questions and really like become familiar with the different interview processes and different things. I know like specific to the investment banking club, like they do a super good job of preparing you for like the questions you're going to be asked in the interview, and it makes a really big difference when you walk into an interview, like knowing what to expect. It makes you like more confident, and it definitely increases your chances. And I don't really know much about DSP, but I'm sure they do a lot of the same things of like really preparing you for what you have to do, and like really make steps clear. You know, like by this age you should, you know, make sure you're applying to these type of places, and they just like help guide you through the process, which I wish I would have taken more advantage of at your age. So it's a plug.
Thanks, Connor.
Yeah, I definitely second what Connor had to say. Actually, I have a question for Calvin about the investment banking club. Would you say that it's limited to finance majors, or does it just tend to attract finance majors in general?
I would definitely say that it's not limited to any major. It is like a career in finance, but a lot of people with like more technical backgrounds or even majors in like MIS or marketing or accounting all like end up in investment banking. There is like a technical portion of the interview that is based around finance, so you will have to study certain topics. But even as a finance major, you don't learn those in school. So it's going to be like the same kind of self-studying for the interviews that like any other major would have to do. So it's not just related to finance, but typically it attracts more finance students. But all majors like have equal chances.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
I also have
Yeah,
another comment.
yeah, let's go ahead.
If any of you guys don't have a LinkedIn account yet, I highly recommend that you make one. Because you can, it's like a super cool networking tool where you can, you know, find people maybe in careers that you are yourself considering, and you can send them a message and, just like ask to, have a 10 or 15-minute conversation with them. And it really helps to like start building your LinkedIn now, so that by the time you're like a junior or senior applying for your jobs, like if you already have it built out, that looks pretty impressive. And so it's free to create, and I highly recommend doing so.
Yeah, thanks, Connor. Definitely some great advice. Yeah, so I guess if nobody has any questions, then that
Wait, I
pretty
think I
much-
have one
oh,
last thing
okay,
to ask.
yeah, go ahead.
When you make a LinkedIn, is your profile picture important? Because I don't have like any professional like picture of me like in a suit or anything.
I would say eventually it is important, but I mean, you can put what you have up now, and I'm sure the different organizations, when we're in person, have different events where you can get like a professional picture taken, or even if you just want to, put on a suit and, go down the hall and have a family member take a picture of you, that works fine too. But I would say it's a good like first impression tool eventually.
Okay.
Wait, I have a question for Ashley. If I remember correctly, you're majoring in marketing? Yeah. What do you like about marketing?
Oh, that's a great question. I love marketing. I think what I like about marketing is I feel like it's the most creative major out of the 7 majors in the business school. I think it's really the branding and everything like that is really interesting to me. And it's definitely, it allows you to be a little bit more creative. Don't get me wrong, there's still like a math and kind of analytical side to it. So, but it also just like really allows you to be creative, and it's also really focused on like personal interaction and kind of like making connections with people, which I really come to enjoy. The cool thing, if you are first year, the cool thing about like being in the business school, if you are in the business school or just in general, is that you do have to take a class in like every single business discipline, which helped me so much figure out what I wanted to do. You have to take an accounting class, you have to take a finance class, you have to take a management class, you have to take a ton of econ classes. And so that really helped me narrow down what I wanted to do. And so I think in time you'll figure out what you want to do too. But yeah, I love marketing. And yeah, you're more than welcome. I can throw my email in the chat as well. You're more than welcome to reach out with any questions about like professional or majors or anything like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I'll put down the emails of everyone who spoke today. So if you guys have any questions or want to find out any more information about any of the clubs, you can reach out to that email address. So, all right, there we go. So you should want to like copy paste that, I don't know, to your notes or something. Yeah, and then just a quick check. Does anyone have any more or any other questions or comments that they would like to make?
I don't know if my thing's messed up, but I didn't get the chat with the emails. If you want to resend it.
Oh, wait, it looks like I sent it. Oh,
You
here we
messaged it
go.
to me privately.
Yeah. There we go. Okay, did that work? All right. Yeah, so I'll give everyone a moment if they want to copy those down. And then, yeah, so if there's no more questions, looks like we wrapped up a little bit early, which is, I don't know, middle of midterm week or midterm season, so probably no complaints there. So I want to thank Connor, Calvin, and Ashley for coming out today and presenting on their clubs and associations, and then also to thank you all who came and attended this event to learn more about these associations. And I think that's pretty much it. So I'll go ahead and close the meeting now, and thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.